You know that moment when you catch a glimpse of yourself in a mirror you didn't ask to look at, like at a store dressing room with those lights that were clearly designed by someone's enemy, and you think, when did that happen to my belly? Yeah, we need to talk about that. Because if you're a woman over 50 and you feel like your body suddenly has its own agenda, specifically a belly that arrived uninvited and refuses to leave, I want you to know that you are not imagining it. You are not lazy. You did not suddenly lose all discipline. Your body is going through something very real, very specific. And honestly, nobody explained it to you properly, but I'm going to. And I'm also going to tell you how to actually reverse it, not with a diet that makes you miserable, not with some miracle pill that costs more than your car payment, and definitely not by eating nothing but celery and sadness. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand your body in a way you probably never did before. And that understanding, that's where everything starts to shift. Let's start with the big question. Why does belly fat suddenly show up after 50 like it's moving in and bringing furniture? The answer has everything to do with hormones, specifically estrogen. Here's something most people don't realize. Estrogen doesn't just control your reproductive system. It actually plays a huge role in where your body stores fat. When estrogen levels are high, like in your 20s and 30s, fat tends to get stored in your hips, thighs, and butt. That's why the classic pear shape is more common in younger women. Estrogen literally directs the fat away from your midsection. But as you head into perimenopause and menopause, usually starting in your mid to late 40s and fully landing sometime in your 50s, estrogen drops. And when estrogen drops, your body's fat storage strategy completely changes. Fat stops going to your hips and thighs and starts going straight to your abdomen. You didn't change. Your hormonal GPS changed. And now it's routing everything through downtown belly. And here's the part that makes it feel so unfair. You can be doing everything the same as you did at 42, same food, same exercise, same stress levels, and still see your waistline growing. Because it's not about what you're doing. It's about what's happening inside your body at a chemical level. Now, there are actually two types of belly fat, and this distinction matters a lot. There's subcutaneous fat, that's the soft fat you can pinch, and then there's visceral fat. That's the fat that sits deep inside your abdomen, surrounding your organs. Visceral fat is the one doctors worry about because it's metabolically active. It releases inflammatory compounds and hormones that can increase your risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and other serious conditions. And when estrogen drops, visceral fat is exactly what tends to increase. So this isn't just a cosmetic issue, this is a health issue, which is why I really need you to keep watching, because what comes next is important. Now let me introduce you to 3 other players in this belly fat situation, because estrogen doesn't act alone. First, cortisol. That's your stress hormone. And here's the thing about menopause, it's stressful. The hot flashes are stressful, the sleep disruption is stressful, the mood changes, the brain fog, the feeling that your body is acting like a stranger, all of it is stressful. And cortisol, when it's chronically elevated, tells your body to store fat in your abdomen. Stress and belly fat are directly connected. So if you've been going through a hard time, emotionally or physically, and you've gained belly fat, that's not a character flaw. That is literally biology. Second, insulin. As estrogen drops, your cells become more resistant to insulin. That means your body has to produce more insulin to do the same job. And insulin is a fat storage hormone. More insulin circulating in your blood means more fat being stored, especially around your midsection. This is why blood sugar management becomes so important after 50 in a way it maybe wasn't before. Third, muscle loss. This one is sneaky. Starting in your 40s, women begin losing muscle mass. It's called sarcopenia, and it accelerates after menopause. Muscle is your metabolic engine. The more muscle you have, the more calories your body burns just existing. When you lose muscle, your metabolism slows. And if your eating habits stay the same while your calorie burning capacity drops, you do the math. The scale doesn't lie, even when we wish it would. So what you have after 50 is essentially a perfect storm. Lower estrogen redirecting fat to your belly, higher cortisol from stress locking it in, increased insulin resistance making fat storage easier, and less muscle slowing down your metabolism. I know, it sounds like a lot. But here's the thing. and I really want you to hold on to this. Every single one of these things is addressable. None of this is a life sentence. Let's talk about something that often gets overlooked: sleep. I'm going to guess that some of you watching this are not sleeping well. Maybe you haven't been sleeping well for a while. Hot flashes waking you up, or just that frustrating thing where you're exhausted but can't stay asleep, or you wake up at 3 a.m. and your brain decides it's time to think about every email you forgot to answer in 2019. Here's why sleep matters so much for belly fat. When you're sleep deprived, two hormones go haywire. Ghrelin, your hunger hormone, goes up. Leptin, your fullness hormone, goes down. So you're hungrier, you feel less satisfied when you eat, and you're more likely to crave high-calorie comfort foods. And because cortisol also rises when you're sleep deprived, your body is simultaneously in fat storage mode. Women going through menopause are at a much higher risk for sleep disruption, and very few people connect that directly to belly fat. But the connection is real and significant. If you're someone who has been fighting your belly while also not sleeping, I want you to consider that the sleep issue might actually be upstream of the belly issue. Fix the sleep, even partially, and the belly becomes much easier to address. Okay, we are now in the final third of this video, and I want to give you something really concrete to walk away with. Because here's the thing I see happen over and over. Women over 50 who are trying to lose belly fat end up doing exactly the things that make it worse. Not because they're not trying, because they're following advice that was designed for a completely different hormonal reality. So here are 5 things that almost everyone does that actually make belly fat worse after 50. Number 1, doing tons of cardio and not enough strength training. I know. We grew up being told cardio is how you lose weight. But here's the problem. Long, intense cardio sessions actually raise cortisol. Chronically elevated cortisol after 50 tells your body to hold on to belly fat. Meanwhile, strength training builds the muscle you're losing, boosts your metabolism, improves insulin sensitivity, and, importantly, it reduces visceral fat specifically. You don't have to stop cardio entirely, but if you're spending 45 minutes on the elliptical every day and skipping weights, you are leaving your most powerful tool on the bench, literally. Number 2, eating too little. This feels counterintuitive, but when you dramatically cut your calories, your body, especially after 50, interprets that as a threat. It slows your metabolism and hangs on to fat stores for survival. On top of that, very low-calorie diets often don't include enough protein, which means you lose muscle instead of fat. And we already talked about what losing muscle does to your metabolism. It's a trap disguised as discipline. Number 3, ignoring protein. After 50, your body actually needs more protein than it did when you were younger, because muscle synthesis becomes less efficient. But most women in this age group are eating the same amount, or less, than they always did. Protein keeps you full, it preserves and builds muscle, and it has a high thermic effect, meaning your body burns more calories just digesting it. If you're not prioritizing protein at every single meal, you're making everything harder than it needs to be. Number 4, trying to out-exercise a high-sugar diet. After 50, with increased insulin resistance, your body is less able to handle large amounts of refined carbohydrates and sugar. Every time you spike your blood sugar, you spike insulin, and insulin promotes fat storage, especially in the belly. This doesn't mean you can never eat a cookie. It means that if refined carbs and sugar are still the foundation of your diet, no amount of exercise is going to undo that biochemistry. The two have to work together. Number 5, skipping stress management because it doesn't feel like real health work. Meditation, deep breathing, journaling, gentle walks in nature, talking to people you love, these feel soft and optional. But remember what cortisol does. Chronic stress is a direct driver of belly fat in women after 50. Managing your nervous system is not a luxury. It is literally part of the treatment plan. If you're doing everything else right, but you're constantly running on stress and anxiety, your cortisol will keep telling your body to hold on to that fat. Here's what I want you to take away from all of this. Your body after 50 is not broken. It's different. It's operating with a completely new hormonal profile, and it needs a completely new approach. The things that worked at 35 may not work now, not because you failed, but because the rules changed. The good news and I mean this, is that once you understand what's actually happening, everything starts to make sense. And when things make sense, you can make changes that actually work. You don't have to suffer through this. You don't have to accept belly fat as your new permanent companion. You have options, you have tools, and you have more power over this than anyone may have told you. Now I have a question for you. Which one of those 5 things hit closest to home? Was it the cardio, the protein, the stress? Drop it in the comments. I read everything, and your answer might shape what I cover next. If this video helped you finally understand what's been going on with your body, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more women who need to hear this. And if you want more videos that actually explain the why behind what happens to our bodies, not just a list of things to do, subscribe. I'm here every week, and I promise I'll always keep it real. See you in the next one.